Welcome to the 2025 game room tour. We're going to be doing the lady lounge first down here, then we're going to head up to the lady loft, then I'm going to show you downstairs, which is my middle room, which is where my live stream setup is. We do one tour a year. Lots of things have changed here and I've documented it over these past maybe 12 or so months. Last year we had the addition of the white shelves from the black, and loads of other kind of aesthetic things have changed. So I hope you guys enjoy and get ready for this awesome tour. So lighting wise, we've got the Govee lights that go around the room, all controlled in an app, and control them from here as well. I like them on blue when I film, so we'll leave them on a softer blue, but they're really, really awesome and they were really cheap off Amazon. If you guys want really nice lighting, I've got Heather to thank for that. She put me onto Govee. All my light bulbs now in my house are Govee. Again, dead easy to control. Can even control them from my watch, and I think they look really nice as they wrap around the room as well. Need to get them for the attic also. But alluding to that, they also go around the cubes as well, which house, I'd say, around 70% of my boxed Super Nintendo collection. Now, recently we did away with all the alphabetizing and I decided to go for colour coding, which obviously does make it a bit more difficult when I'm trying to find a game. But what I've started to do is when I'm at markets, I'll take pictures of the collection now, so I can just kind of go through and see what I've got rather than individually cataloguing it all. That definitely works well for me. So we've got Super Nintendo here along the bottom. We've got my boxed NES as well as unboxed NES. There's always a random cube or shelf, I think, in a game room. I'm sure that in yours there's one as well. Mine tends to be this right hand bottom cube here, which has a collection of N64, some N64 peripherals and some uncatalogued, should I say uncatalogued, just unorganised Super Nintendo stuff. But I really love this, I absolutely love it. It's my favourite part of the room. I was kind of toying with the Sega stuff in the corner there, but since I've actually reorganised this is definitely my favourite part of the room. And of course above it we've got my boxed consoles. This is a nice Killer Instinct console. It's not in the best condition, it's got this like horrible brown tape around it, but as an absolute Super Nintendo girl and something that I grew up on, this thing, the Super Nintendo in general, I just love it so much, and it's been a mad year for me doing loads of retro game hunts. Full Power Super Nintendo collection, going out to Europe's greatest retro game store. I went there in April and I absolutely loved it. It was packed full of Nintendo stuff. It was mainly Super Nintendo actually. So for me, it was an absolute dream being such a huge fan of this console. And what I've tried to do is kind of dress it nicer. We've got the pixel panels, small and large. We've got a large one up there, which you'll see. We've got the 3D printed signs from M&J Design UK, except for that one, that's not theirs. I just think it looks really nice. It's really, really cool. And of course, it's the main backdrop if I'm filming in here. Now, one thing you guys might have noticed is just some kind of wall decor. I've got some Mario Brothers movie figures on the top, as well as the Turtles bubble art, which I'm a huge Turtles girl. You can kind of see, I'll hold it this way, the tattoo, which I got my 40th birthday a couple of years ago, and having that bubble art there. There's two more bubble arts again, which we'll kind of get to, but I think it looks really cool. Really happy with this particular bit of the room. Just random little bits as well. I think this was a pre-order bonus for Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch. Great game, completed it on stream. Really enjoyed it, and I think that's actually a really nice pre-order bonus. I'm not going to try it on because my hair and I'm ugly enough, so why would I need to make myself uglier by putting Cappy on? So yeah, and then down here of course we've got the two little Yoshi egg mats, and of course the 3D printed Bomberman, which Reese kindly picked up for my birthday down at the Birmingham Retro Gaming Market. So I think this is a really nice Nintendo area. Again, very minimal on the N64. I've got the NES stuff, the consoles, and of course it is just my pride and joy. And of course, as we go round the rest of the lady lounge, you'll see the rest of the Super Nintendo collection as we go. But I think that is a pretty good start. So there's lots of games on here that I think are some of the cream of the crops. And a recent pickup, I say recent this year, picked up Demon's Crest PAL CIB. Super stoked to own this. Really difficult game and very difficult to get complete on the Super Nintendo PAL English. And I got that from a Vintage Gamer. That was a really good episode that we did, so really happy with that. And then also there was a few NTSC variants on the full PAL Super Nintendo episode. So I kind of picked up, I couldn't walk away, because this has been a really kind of dream game CIB of mine, and that is Chrono Trigger. I'm a huge fan of the top-down RPGs. We never got this on PAL. Love the art style. I just honestly love the art style. When I was a little girl, I used to draw top-down art and split little like buildings into rooms and draw beds and tables, and it just fascinated me, top-down stuff. So I've always been drawn to, you know, like say Link to the Past, for example. That was one thing that drew me to Link to the Past. So I'm a bit of a sucker, really. There's an immediate bias for me that draws me to a game when there's top-down stuff involved. So this again is CIB. I love that. In fact, I'll probably do like a YouTube or TikTok. I'm on TikTok now. Go follow me on TikTok, link in description. Might actually do a TikTok on exactly how immaculate that is. And there's lots of really good games in here, like Terranigma. We got Final Fantasy 2 and 3. A German copy of Harvest Moon. It's very difficult to get on PAL English, that is, although we did obviously see it down at the full PAL Super Nintendo collection. But I got this for, I think it was like $2.20 back in the day, a few years ago. Another little gem of mine was the Star Wing competition cartridge. Paid $2.20 for this about 4 or 5 years ago maybe. I remember doing the Donkey Kong edition of this in Blockbuster in my previous hometown when I was a little girl in Alfreton with my friend Matt. So I'm very fond of these types of competitions from way back in my childhood. So when I had an opportunity to buy that, obviously I kind of leapt on it. So I think overall for me, this console's probably influenced me the most, the Super Nintendo. And I think that's why my passion is so furious for it. And there's still today games that I've obviously not played, and it's so nice to experience them as an adult. I flipping love it. And honestly, long may this hobby live, as well as the retro game hunts here on the channel. So this area's changed quite a lot since you guys last saw a tour. This used to be full of PS2 games, but I thinned them out and I just kept what I really wanted. And I've done a lot of thinning out of the collection over the past 12 months, especially trading a lot, selling a lot of stuff. And the PS2 games that you've got here are ones that I will play, or the ones that I have an interest in. They may well be thinned down again, but I'm just at that stage of collecting where it's just kind of like, I'm just getting rid of stuff that doesn't bring me joy. So we've got the PS2 collection here, which is really nice. This is a lovely Japanese Street Fighter 2 anniversary. Just love Street Fighter. Who didn't grow up on Street Fighter though? And there's some wicked stuff in here, like a mouse mat. Just really cool stuff. And I think I paid like 70 quid for that. This was at one of the Doncaster gaming markets, and I love the artwork as well. Street Fighter is so iconic, and I'm yet to meet somebody without a story of Street Fighter. For me, it was very much sitting on Matt's Super Nintendo playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo, getting my ass kicked. I tended to be Chun-Li. Matt was either Ryu or Ken, and we just sat, it was a whole kind of cross-legged on the floor in front of a huge CRT if we were allowed in somebody's house to play these games. So again, I've said I lived a lot of my gaming vicariously through my friends when I was a little girl, because we didn't have the money to have, I wasn't like privileged, to have a lot of these games. Unlike my friends, it was great to have such a good circle of people that really did love gaming. So that's my kind of little Street Fighter 2 stuff there. Managed to pick up a copy, a CIB complete sealed Rule of Rose from the infamous Italian shipment. Apparently these were the shipments that were destined for the UK before the game was banned over here, due to an Italian article basically slamming this game, saying that there was all kinds of things in the game that were just simply not true. If you play through this or you watch a playthrough, you'll see that the article that was written versus the actual gameplay simply do not match. Therefore, it was really kind of bad press, and this was banned as a result. So unfortunately, this flooded the market here in the UK, and you now see a Rule of Rose everywhere, which is unfortunate for collectors that actually had it before, but unfortunate for them, but fortunate for me and other people to get it into the collection. So I really like this nice clean PS2 area. And then moving up, we've got the crates at the back, the Donkey Kong crate, Super Game Boy crate, and then these are the majority of these. I'd say pretty much all of these here have been acquired this year, like the Final Fight trilogy I got from the full PAL Super Nintendo set. down at, that was in Brierley Heath. Great episode, by the way. A lot of this stuff was from Markets, Breath of Fire 2. You know, some really good stuff coming into the collection there. And the Fireman, so that is a repro box, but it's an original cartridge and an original manual. So this is a very difficult game to get. You know, I first emulated that on my Vita and I really fell in love with the game. So you're basically going through burning buildings, you've got to put extinguish fires, you've got your colleague, your friend with you, you know, NPC, and there's different hoses you can attach for different fires. So it's really good, and it's that kind of like top down again, which I really do like. There is a second one on the PS1, Japanese only, Fireman 2, which I'm looking for as well. So that's really cool. I actually love this section. And then on the top, we've got a very small alien section that I've got here. This is, I think, I don't know if that's that could be wrong. I think that's a Japanese PS2, a debugging test PS2 from EA, and then a PAL Silver PlayStation 2 fat model there. So I really like this little section, and it's obviously cornered with my, excuse me, I've been coughing a lot recently, Final Fight bar top, which is running Pandori 4, I think, don't quote me. Had this for a number of years, custom made. I wanted the Super Nintendo button, the colour code, Final Fight marquee, because I love Final Fight. And then obviously in here, which we won't open because this is like got so many consoles in, but it's all kind of just there with all the consoles in. Again, a lot of the stuff's been cleaned out in there, and I've documented it. If you've been a fan of the channel for quite some time, you'd have seen this cupboard open and close no end. And then of course, again, shout out to James who gave me this as a cool kind of Alien Romulus bucket, popcorn bucket with my Tomb Raider cards in, which I've now sleeved because I only bought these, you can see them there, for the actual cards themselves, not the actual game. So I kind of keep them there, but how cool is that? The Alien Romulus, that is a great film as well, and I cannot wait for the second one. So that's pretty darn right. It's a nice little area, of course, underneath the entrance to the Lady Loft. And then hiding behind here, we've got some really nice additional Super Nintendo stuff. So if you guys remember the double packs that came out on Super Nintendo, this being F-Zero and Killer Instinct, this does have the manual in. I don't know if it's got the CD in. I'm pretty sure it's got the CD in. I'm not sure. But how cool is that? I'm going to show you guys a little close-up of this beaut. How delicious is that? I'm pretty certain I remember seeing that down, I think it was Dixon's. I'm sure this was in Dixon's. I can see it on High Street. And then the long box of Killer Instinct with the watch. So again, a lot of the Killer Instinct stuff did have the Killer Cut CD. This one might have the CD in it. Yeah, this is the one with the CD in. So if I can get it, I think it's the CD. No, it's the poster. I know one of these has got the CD in anyway. So, you know, so that's pretty cool. And then the Nintendo watch, again, really nice thing to have. So we've moved from the PS2 section. We've got Sega Saturn, original Xbox, a Tomb Raider shelf up there. And at the top, a lot of those games are all signed by the core development team, as well as Judith Gibbons, who was the voice actress for Lara in Tomb Raider 2 and 3. I've probably said it before, you've probably heard it, but I interviewed her back in October of 2023 on stage at the Quad, which was an excellent experience. She was really, really nice, and she tends to go to the TR events in Derby, which are around October time each year. I think they've just done this year's actually, so that's really cool. Again, there's some nice stuff on here. I've got a lovely Mega CD collection. I tend to collect what I play for when it comes to Mega CD. And, you know, it's things like I've got Snatcher, Batman Returns. I mean, I've always loved this iconic Batman Returns artwork. This is actually shot up in price as well. And I don't care about that because I think this is a classic little game. And the Mega CD was completely underrated. And I've got a Model 1 in there, a Model 2, but I've got a multi-Mega. So for me, that's my preferred way to play, you know, Mega CD games and actually Mega Drive games, because it's a small compact console and it's that hybrid nature, of course, as is the hybrid nature of the Model 1 and 2. But I just find that the size of the multi-Mega just pips it to the post for me in any of the iterations of those hybrid Mega Drive and Mega CD consoles. So that's cool. It's also Final Fight CD there as well. As you guys know, I'm a huge Final Fight girl. It's actually a really good port of Final Fight. So yeah, really, really cool. We've got some amiibos on here, Yoshi's Woolly World and Mario Maker. Dropping down, we've got the indie Dreamcast games. There's tons of stuff in here that you guys don't see on a regular basis. This is very much a labour of love in here over the years. And of course, coming over here, we'll come into this corner now with the arcade cab, which again, this corner has been revamped quite a lot in the past year. So, Master System here, very slim pickings on Master Systems. I don't play it that often. And again, it really is just about what I want to kind of play rather than collect for. I first played a Master System when somebody was babysitting for me. Oh, crikey, I would have been, I don't know, 9 maybe, and it was Alex Kidd. You know, the built-in Alex Kidd. I think it was on the, I think it was a Master System 2. Just looking at mine there, I'm sure it was a Master System 2, and I just fell in love with it. I could not believe how futuristic it looked, how vibrant it looked, how colourful it looked, and how much fun it was just to punch those blocks. And even like the swimming mechanics were pretty amazing as well. I just thought that was such a good moment in my gaming memory stuff. So that's what I tend to think of when I think of Master System, is that one game. So that's where my nostalgia lies for Master System. But we've got some nice games in here as well. Again, Tasmania, loved the cartoon. I actually loved this game on the Sega Mega Drive as well. So that was good. I kind of liked that because I watched the cartoon. We've got some like Road Rash up there, which is a classic. We've got a signed copy of Hang On by Yu Suzuki. I got this signed down at Gamescom in 2019. Zool, of course, is a classic that everybody knew and loved on the Amiga. So, you know, being able to play it on console as well as home computer was really nice. For me, though, it definitely shines the most on the Amiga. Like the music, the sound effects, and just seeing all of the familiar brands like Chupa Chups and stuff were just like that back in the day. The branding of some of the games like Cool Spot with 7-Up, so appealing, so darn appealing. And then dropping down, I really like the aesthetic of this corner as well. So there's a lot of big hit Super Famicom here, Final Fight Guy, you know, Chrono Trigger. Again, me and Hev went to Liverpool Gaming Market and we met John Romero recently. Here's my signed copy double case of meeting John Romero. I've of course got my mouse mat downstairs as well, which I'll show you. Turtles in Time there, and then PS1 stuff. Now I did slim out slightly on PS1 recently. Again, I want to just collect PS1 games that I really want to play. Picked up Tombi 2 in a recent episode. Still need to get Tombi, or Tomba as it's known in the United States. This was a surprise CEX find. You don't tend to see this often, and it's got double manual in as well, so I'm going to be selling that double manual. Gex, another banger on the PS1. Again, I believe it's available for Sega Saturn as well. It's slightly cheaper on Saturn, and it's a lot cheaper on 3DO Gexes. But this is a really cool platform game. It's actually a lot of fun, and I paid £160 for that. I knew when I saw that I couldn't really let it go because you don't see it that often. And it's just this like weirdest like protagonist, isn't it? It's just this weird protagonist. Like, I think this was we should see more Gex. Right, we should have had more Gex in our lives. We definitely needed him as a mascot. He just looks so cool. Check him out. It's just pretty rad. And then of course we've got some big hitters here. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. We've got it on Classics Edition as well, on the NTSC. But of course, having the double case PAL is where it's at. It's kind of like been a bit steady on price. I don't care though, because having the game like an original game and being able to play it on original is brilliant. I think the game, the pixel art looks stunning. I think it's aged so flipping well. And for me, it's one of the better Castlevania games of all of them out there. But this is a great little section. And then of course, swinging around, we've got the arcade one-up, 4-player Turtles in Time cab. And then there's a lot of stuff kind of behind here that, again, I'm going to be sifting through like Game Boy, Advance games, stuff that I'm not interested in. So I'm toying with the idea of going to markets, and a lot of the stuff that I'm not interested in will be coming with me. And hiding deep behind there, which is a bit of a hidden corner, which I don't pay much attention to, my 3DS and DS games. Well, let's take a look.
I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.
Right, another area that's been revamped is this. We've got all the PAL Dreamcast games there. I love the Dreamcast and I love what the indie scene has done for the Dreamcast. If you follow, it's like, I think it's Wave Game Studios, they've published a lot of games like Intrepid Izzy and such like on the Dreamcast, which I think has helped to bring it back into the forethought of a lot of people's minds in the last year, certainly mine. So I think if it wasn't for such a thriving indie scene, I probably, because I don't have as much nostalgia for the Dreamcast as I say do for the Sega Mega Drive or the Amiga or the Super Nintendo. So it's kind of like that that's made me want to just dip back in and keep my foot firmly in the Dreamcast scene. And there are of course some games like Half-Life. This was finished on the Dreamcast and I actually need a new case for it. And so this has obviously been ripped onto a disc and I just think how cool is that? You know, as well as like Flashback as well. And there's some banger games in here like Shenmue, Crazy Taxi, obviously your staple titles. You know, Daytona USA 2001. You know, some really classic races, like the arcade ability of the Dreamcast. So really, really nice stuff. Just check out the iconic box art there on Daytona USA 2001. You know, some wicked stuff. So got the Dreamcast shelf, that's nice. Got the front facing double rows as well, if we can kind of just make out the additional stuff on the bottom. Same with the GameCube, got the Pixel pals in, nice front facing. Wii, don't have as much nostalgia for the Wii, that's probably going to get thinned out a lot. I love like first party games on the Wii, that's as kind of far as it's going to go for me. Got some lovely cardboard stuff, speaking of first party, like this Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I think at the minute there's a bit of a pop-off for just the collectors out there with slipcases as well as steelbooks. I'm seeing a lot of conversation around that in the community. And then something that's really cool, which I really love in my Wii collection, these 2 games. So Retro City Rampage DX and Shakedown Hawaii. So these were some of the last games to ever be released on the Wii, and I kept mine sealed because you can get these off the PlayStation. I'm sure it's PlayStation Store for a few quid. So I'm like, if I want to play them, I'd rather do that and keep these sealed. So these are from VBlank. You want to check these guys out. Now I'm not kind of paid to say that, but these games, I think they're out on the Vita as well, and I'm pretty sure I've got these on PlayStation 3. So really nice edition releases on the Wii, but it's again probably one that I'm going to be thinning out in the coming months because I just don't play it. So a bit of a 16-bit corner then. Stand over here actually, because we've got the now colour-coded Sega Mega Drive selection with some random tidbits all over, like the 3D printed stuff. We've got more Pixel Pals, which, you know, at night when you've got these on, there's no battery in that one. I actually think I left them on and they're all out of batteries except for Sonic there. It does look really nice. It does look really nice. And then of course there's additional Super Nintendo here as well as Sega Mega Drive. And again, just on the top shelf there, just PSP stuff that I only play because that was another part of the collection that I decided to just let go because I just don't play it. And I've kept stuff like Breath of Fire 2, Castlevania, you know, things like that that I really would appreciate. Again, so this is a really nice corner. Got my Lara Croft statue here, a signed Angelina Jolie picture as well as a signed Judith Gibbons. Lara Croft picture behind me, again, interviewed her in 2023, so that was really cool. And I think for me, there's lots of just the 16-bit period, isn't it? We spoke about the Super Nintendo. We can't speak about Super Nintendo without remembering the amazing Sega Mega Drive. What a console. And, you know, the Mega Drive 1 and then the 2, and then obviously, you know, the Mega CD. It was so versatile. It's just so much fun. you know, like for example, first played Micro Machines. It was this Micro Machines actually, when I was like doing just some like, I don't know, around a friend's house, and we were just sat eating like sandwiches in the 6 weeks holidays. We were, in fact, me and my mate Danny were crammed into one chair, just like sat like this with the controllers playing Micro Machines, man, such good memories. Nothing beats it. Same with something like Wonder Boy 3 here. This was a Christmas one, Wonder Boy 3. Everyone's like about 20 kids piled onto a single bed, like taking it in turns trying to play that. Just, again, really fun, warm memories. So lots of kind of nostalgia for the 16-bit period, and I know a lot of you guys love it as well. It's just a great time, and I just can't even like, you know, talk about it without smiling from ear to ear. So this is a nice little corner. I love the way this feels, and yeah, it's just gaming is life, isn't it? So we've got the SF1 here, the Sharp SF1. This is, I think there are two variations of this. This is the smaller one. I forget the size of the screen, but this has a built-in Super Famicom with this. Great just to be able to sit on my beanbag when it's in here, play through the Super Famicom. Even the controllers, I'll show you one of the controllers which do need fixing, are branded as Sharp SF1. You know, if you're a Super Nintendo fan, you know, check out the Sharp SF1 branding right on the top there. Again, these need a good clean, and I think there's a D-pad, so some of the buttons don't work, so I need to get them fixed. But this is a lovely, lovely, lovely machine. Sandwiched right in between my Series X, my PS5, so if I'm kind of off stream and I want to relax, this is where it happens here. And that all sits underneath the multicoloured transparent N64 consoles. I'm missing the grey one, but I don't think I'm going to bother pursuing it because I'm not going to play it. So that's that. And then of course we colour coded all the N64 games, and I recently completed my collection of the, I think it's like greatest hits or best choice or something like that. What's the branding on these? Player's Choice N64 games. So on PAL there's a lot less of these, but I did complete the set of the Player's Choice N64 games recently. I think I completed that at the Nottingham Gaming Market. So, you know, the collection's come along nicely, and I'm very, very proud of it. You can see all the kind of little bits of, you've got the turtle stuff going on here. I think the aesthetic really does pop in here. And of course, in that corner, again, there's more Turtles bubble art, more Super Nintendo stuff. I think the Lady Lounge feels and looks really, really good. And of course, I'm eager to know what you guys think before we head up into the Lady Loft. Right, we're up here in the Lady Loft, and we're going to be taking a look at PS3, 360, Switch, PS4, PS5, my game guides, and my arcade kiosks, and much, much more. So this is the second room, and then we'll show you the stream setup briefly because that's all that's really in there. But this room is very cold. And the stream setup actually used to be here, if you remember from the previous tour. So I'm actually got this space ready for I've just not had time to set up a CRT area yet. But there's some really cool stuff in here, and in the eaves there are all the collector's editions, which we won't go through. Again, a lot of that has been siphoned off just to be sold or traded. And yeah, that's it. We've got an amazing Amiga section. There's such good stuff up here, guys. I hope you enjoyed the second half of this episode. So let's have a whip around the Lady Loft. All right then, the kiosk section. We've got an 3D printed M82 Super Nintendo mini kiosk, as well as a Swedish, kind of like, it's very similar to an M80C bar top cab right here, with custom, the Gebs 24 controllers on this, and then the regular SNES mini controllers on this. This is an awesome little section. I did an exclusive video on that if you want more information. There's also a YouTube short on that. But it was M&J Designs UK that it was just kind of done at cost, really. And I think it's just beautiful because I wanted an M80C for quite some time, and I think that's the closest I'm ever going to get to one, because when they come up for sale, they're so expensive and I don't really have the space. But I think it looks really cool. It's like big sister, little sister. So this is an official one, got all the paperwork for this. And I just love the way they both look together, and I think this area looks really cool with the, you know, the artwork in the background. We've got some VHS here, of course. I can pop VHS in there. It just looks really cool, and I'm very, very proud of it. Now underneath I've got a full collection of retro gamer magazines. Half of the collection is over here, the other half is over there, and I love the way the colours on the spines pop on that. Of course, got a Mortal Kombat chair. It's just really quirky up here and I absolutely love it. So yeah, pretty happy with this little section here. And it's actually right next to my Amiga section, as well as the Super Famicom hotel box, which if you've watched my channel for quite some time, you'll know all about this thing. In to my Amiga corner then, but first we've got the Super Famicom hotel box mounted underneath this LG flat screen TV. So you don't have to watch the video, but these things were available to rent in Japanese hotels in the 90s, and there were 5 cartridges in these that were total release, and each of these machines had 2 cartridges in per time, loaded with games such as Star Fox, some random golf games I think mine has, Mario Kart's on here as well. I actually don't remember all the games that were on mine, but some of the cartridges are definitely more obscure to get than the others. I think mine have the most common in. These controllers, and there's 2 of them, reach all the way out, and you'll notice, well you won't notice, if you watch the episode I did, these controllers on the Super Famicom hotel box are a lot longer than standard Super Famicom controllers, and that's because these were designed for people to be able to sit on their bed and relax and play this thing after they'd rented them. Whereas Super Famicom controllers were a lot shorter because the tradition in Japan is to sit a lot closer to the TV, therefore you don't need long flex on the controllers. So you'd sit down, play with your family, and the CRT would be right there. But I think that's a really cool, quirky fact on the Super Famicom hotel box, and it's a lovely machine. And it was kindly gifted to me by my friend up in Scotland when I filmed the largest UK retro game shop back in September 2024. So shout out to Alan at Forgotten Worlds, we're going back up there. And yeah, I think this machine is absolutely stunning. It's missing a little bit of the front panel, but I think that adds a little bit of character. Now, of course, next to it, we've got my Amiga 600, A500 Mini, 500, and then just some random artwork. Like Heather donated this to me. Heather gave me these from PlayStation, what Destruction Derby Arenas artwork. These are from her friend. And then of course F106, right direct from PlayStation. So pretty cool stuff. I do still need to put that up. But this is a nice area to kind of come and sit down, and I do use it quite a bit, guys. And again, I think it looks really quirky. It's one of my secret favourite parts of this part of my collection, this cool little Amiga corner and Super Famicom hotel box. All right, so back wall, PlayStation 3, all alphabetized above the 360. Very minimal Wii U, Switch, Xbox, some collector's editions, PS4 and PS5. Now, again, I really like this area. It's kind of accented on the top with just random figures. I've got a Turtles lampshade, some VHS, and I've just kind of, the vibe I've kind of gone for with this is just to be as quirky as possible. And I have kept this specifically as alphabetized, whereas downstairs it's color-coded. So some of the cool pieces then, again, when I interviewed Judith Gibbons, I sat with Rhianna Pratchett for a little bit. She signed my copy of Tomb Raider. Of course, she wrote the Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider in the latest trilogy. And I watched her interview with Steve of War before my interview with Judith. So that's a lovely piece signed by Rhianna. I'm very fortunate to kind of hang out with her for a little bit. And then the Last of Us Joel and Ellie edition on the PlayStation 3. I believe these games are masterpieces, and I'll never forget playing The Last of Us for the first time on the PlayStation 3. What an incredible moment, like to be able to experience these games for the first time. And then these editions really do just bolster out the PlayStation 3 collection and pay true homage to such a wonderfully written game. The graphics are great, the script is great, the character design is great. It's just flipping great, isn't it? So yeah, I had the opportunity to get these. I think one of these, I think it was this one, was from CX a few years back. So this is a great section for me. Again, with PS3, I'm looking for hidden gem stuff at the moment. So one hidden gem that I believe you should know about is a game called 3D Dot Game Heroes, which is somewhere in my collection. I don't know where it is. It might be the PS3 stuff behind there, but I do have it. And that is very, very similar kind of design to Link to the Past, but the graphics just look mind-blowing. It's a very difficult game actually, but if you like Link to the Past, you'll like 3D Dot Game Heroes. It's quite expensive, but if you're lucky, you can drop on for, I don't know, I think I've seen it go as low as 20, but that could have been years ago. My perimenopausal brain eludes me. And then my PS4 stuff, I tend not to collect PS4 now. Obviously the PS5's out, but there's a nice selection of stuff here. You know, some of the key pieces being, of course, Days Gone is a classic first-party PlayStation 4 game. How I wish we would get a sequel to Days of Gone. Days of Gone? Days of Gone! Days Gone! Forget my words out. Days of Gone! Days Gone. Apparently a sequel was written, but Sony didn't want it. They chose Concord instead. That's the rumour. But nonetheless, there's some banger titles in here. Got a few bits from Limited Run. This is sealed because I do have a copy of Streets of Rage 4. So I just wanted to kind of keep that sealed. That's the kind of collector in me. But this is a limited run edition, as you guys can see. I've stopped buying so much from Limited Run because they take so long to hit my doorstep after ordering that I'm just like, no, I just need kind of like, want to order the game and kind of get it. And it was the same with this. I got the really nice limited classics collection of Doom from Limited Run as well. Of course, it's people still buying Doom today, aren't we? You know, we've got Doom, Doom 2 and Doom 3. This game just continues to sell and continues to, you know, shock people, and just the cultural impact of this game is phenomenal. And that's why I was so happy to be able to meet John Romero down at Liverpool Gaming Market. So if you've not seen that actual collection, I believe again there's a short, but look at the shimmer on the font there. I mean, it really does just add that finesse, doesn't it? So that's that little section there, and yeah, I love it. Now, game guides as well as Ghostbuster film cells, cartoon cells, whatever you want to call them. Decided to leave them there, but game guides are both a blessing and a curse. I've considered selling my game guide collection and just keeping the ones that I really, really want. For example, the player's guide to Link to the Past. Check that out. This is a very sought after guide. We've even got a rogue map in there as well. But this is a very, very sought after guide. Beautiful guide to a beautiful game. This is in lovely condition. So I'd kind of keep like my Zelda ones and maybe my Mario ones, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. I've considered getting rid. There's some additional kind of books down here. But what do you guys think? Are game guides like a blessing or a curse for you? Do you collect them? Are you a collector of books? Who knows? I went through a huge phase of collecting books and game guides, and then it just wears thin, doesn't it? So that's the kind of, that's that. And these are all alphabetized. We've got Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls. There's lots of really good games in here. And then above, it's just Decor, of course, except for this. This is the Capcom Chainsaw controller. I think it's the PS2 one. And that, I believe, was from an episode I did down at Super Game Shack. Just really cool stuff in the collection. This is the DVDs of all the Predators. We've got a couple of amiibos on there. And again, it's just a nice cozy section of the Lady Loft. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Let me know what you think. Now, over to the other side of the Lady Loft, we've got Laura here from, I believe it's Chronicles I believe it's Chronicles. And then obviously back here, it's just random stuff really. Nothing much to kind of shout about. But of course, there's the Cyberpunk 2077 collector's edition. These cubes are empty. They're really just for decor. And then all in the back and the eaves are where my collector's editions and empty console boxes sit. So what we'll do is we'll just glide some B-roll here, and I'll show you the PlayStation 2 TV with the Sony Bravia TV at the back. But again, a lot of this is mainly just decor with the rest of the Retro Gamer magazines in.
So down into the third room, this is my live stream setup. I stream on Kick, we stream via OBS, and in this particular stream I've been hammering some Ghost of Yotai, which I'm really enjoying. I'm around between kind of 6 and 7 hours. I use a Go XLR for my sound effects. I've got a Stream Deck which enables me to change scene in OBS, and overall I absolutely love streaming and interacting live with my audience.
So that's it. You've seen the Lady Lounge, you've seen the Lady Loft, and you've seen the live stream setup. I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Again, come over to TikTok. We'll be posting exclusive TikToks over there. And please hit that like, hype and subscribe button, and thank you. And let me know what you think. How do you organise your games? If you've got any tips or tricks of your trade or your craft, let us know in the comments section below. But for now, guys, thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next one.